Commander Vex stood frozen, eyes locked on the flickering holographic display. His four pupils contracted, dilated, and blinked in quick succession. His breath caught in his throat. The blue hue of his skin darkened with stress, and his mandibles twitched as if they were trying to speak in his place. The room around him, the central command bridge of the warship Dread Scythe, felt like it had shrunk to a suffocating bubble, filled only with tension and dread. What he had just heard was unthinkable. He turned slowly, his voice barely restrained, but carrying all the weight of imminent disaster. "Captain Cone," he said, mandibles clicking with each syllable, "please repeat what you just said." Cone, young and proud only moments before, now seemed to shrink in place. The shine of his purple exoskeleton shimmered under the sterile glow of the bridge's artificial lighting, betraying the tremble in his limbs. All 6 of his legs adjusted uneasily beneath him. His voice, when it came, was steady but betrayed none of the understanding Vex hoped for. "Sir," Cone began, his tone respectful but uncertain, "the raiding party has returned successfully. They've captured 12 human specimens from the outer colony. The subjects appear to be juveniles." The silence that followed was absolute. Even the usual ambient buzz of bridge operations, taps of claws on consoles, low chatter, hums of energy circuits, fell away. The crew stared, stunned, their many eyes, stalks, and sensors all fixated on the captain and their commanding officer. No one moved. The tension in the air was as thick as the gel they used for emergency atmospheric sealing. Vex felt a chill colder than any vacuum breeze. "Juveniles?" he echoed in disbelief. His voice lowered as if the word itself might summon death. "You captured human children?" "Yes, sir," Cone replied, still too blind to the danger. The intelligence reports indicated they would be easier to manage. Fewer complications. "We thought. Easier to handle?" Vex's voice exploded like an energy cannon blast. The sound reverberated through the bridge, rattling panels and silencing even those who might have dared to whisper. "You absolute fool. Have you any idea what you've done? Do you understand the scale of the catastrophe you've just unleashed on us?" Cone's confident stance began to falter. His antennae drooped slightly. "Sir, I don't understand. They're just small humans. They don't pose a threat." "No threat?" Vex repeated, now pacing back and forth, his claws dragging tiny scratches in the metal flooring. "Is this what they teach you in command training now? Are you that ignorant of galactic history? Of the blood-soaked reports? The first-hand accounts passed down from commanders who survived, barely, to warn us all." He turned sharply. "Lieutenant Nash, enlighten him before I eject him into space myself." Nash, a thin, long-limbed intelligence officer with translucent scales that shimmered like data streams, stepped forward. "Commander, perhaps I can provide context." But Vex raised a hand, breathing heavily. He took a moment to calm himself. Then, slowly and deliberately, he spoke, each word dripping with grim finality. "In all the centuries of conquest, through every world we've subjugated, through every species we've crushed beneath our boots, there has always been one rule. One immutable law that every sentient, spacefaring race eventually learns. Do not touch human children. Ever." Cone looked up, his grayish pallor spreading as confusion and fear dawned. "But why?" "Because," Vex said, eyes narrowing, "when a human child is harmed or merely threatened, their kind becomes something else. Something beyond reason. They are no longer logical, no longer predictable. They transcend strategy and military logic. They become a force of nature, a fury unbound by fear or limits." He stepped forward, gaze burning into Cone's. "Humans will fight for land, for pride, for survival. But if you lay a hand on their young, they will burn the stars themselves to avenge them." The bridge crew listened in solemn silence, their alien features contorted in uneasy understanding. "They call it parental instinct," Vex continued, quieter now, as if he feared even speaking the term might summon its wrath. "But it's more like a sacred rage. It overrides pain. It ignores death. A human parent becomes an unstoppable engine of vengeance and protection." Lieutenant Nash stepped beside Vex and nodded gravely. "The Centauri incident confirms this. When the reptilian consortium captured a group of human colonist children, the entire human defense fleet abandoned their own home world's protection and launched a direct assault. No negotiation. No delay. Only 50 ships attacked a fleet 6 times their size. And yet, Vex added, not a single reptilian vessel survived. The entire consortium fleet obliterated. 300 warships lost. Why? Because they touched children. Kohn's legs gave way. He collapsed in a heap on the floor, all pride extinguished. What have I done? You've doomed us all, Vex said simply. There was no malice in his voice. Only certainty. Before anyone could respond, a voice cut through the silence from the comm station. Commander, said the communication officer, visibly shaken. We're receiving multiple transmissions from human space. Demands for immediate return of the children. Put it through, Vex ordered. The central view screen blinked and flared to life, revealing the grim face of Admiral Blake of the human colonial fleet. His aged features were carved from stone, eyes like twin suns, burning with restrained wrath. His uniform was clean, but the tension in his neck and jaw revealed how close he was to giving an irreversible order. This is Admiral Blake, the man said. His voice was ice and steel. Alien vessel, you have exactly 1 hour to return our children. Unharmed. Delivered to the nearest human outpost. There was a pause. Then the words that would haunt the bridge forever. If you comply, you will be allowed to leave our space with a warning. If you refuse, or if any harm comes to those children, I will personally ensure your species remembers this day as the beginning of its extinction. The screen went black. Vex exhaled. 1 hour, he muttered. He's being generous. Generous? Kohn whispered from the floor. Nash answered in a dead tone. The last species that took human children had their entire homeworld glassed within 6 hours. Not just their military, their cities, their history, their culture, all gone. Vex looked at his crew, his voice now calm but absolute. All hands, prepare for immediate course reversal. We're returning the children now. Then we flee. We disappear beyond the edge of mapped space and pray they let us live. But sir, an officer protested feebly. Our mission parameters. Did your parameters include galactic suicide? Vex snarled. Do you want to be remembered as the fools who brought extinction upon us? We return the children or we die. It's that simple. The ship jolted as the engines roared, the course rapidly realigning. Every system was pushed to its limit as the dread scythe tore through space, racing back toward the human colony. As the chaos of flight filled the bridge, Vex stood still, staring at the empty screen where Blake's face had just been. He felt awe, fear, and a bitter kind of respect all at once. They had enslaved entire solar systems. They had broken fleets, shattered planets, and brought entire civilizations under their rule. They were conquerors, feared across the stars, and yet 12 small human children had done what no fleet or army ever could. They had made the conquerors run. The lesson was burned into Vex's mind, indelible and clear. The humans were not the most powerful race, not the most advanced, not the most numerous, but threatened their children, and they would become something the galaxy had never been able to stop. A storm, a reckoning, a force that turned empires to ash and burned through time itself. And now they were coming.